What is this wooden club I found in a thrift store years ago here in the US? It is hand-carved with a smaller carved piece in the middle, and several small holes across the body. About 26 inches long, and the oval hole is about 2.5 inches wide. Google Lens suggested a Native American gunstock club, but those seem to have different angles all around, and the engraving looks a bit too crude, but definitely some kind of rifle shape. So maybe a homemade rubber band rifle or something, with the bit in the middle as a trigger. Any ideas? That is a 1960s Vietnamese crossbow, missing the front limb. It was the weapon of choice for the indigenous Montagnards people of the Vietnamese Central Highlands. It is made to shoot arrows at birds. What is this old jug-holding device found in a barn? I have no clue what it's for. It could be an enema or an embalmer, but the mouth of the bottle is a little different. And knowing that it's in a barn, maybe it is some kind of handmade poultry waterer. Does anyone have a clue? It's a 1920s battery filler for filling batteries with water or electrolyte in the car or on the bench. This battery filler has a handle attached in which a bottle of distilled water is placed and a tube leading from the base to be used in filling the battery. It was built to fit any 1-gallon bottle and sold for $5 in the 1920s. What is this thing I found from the previous tenant? It has a wooden handle with metal roped wires, and I discovered it in the depths of the kitchen cabinet. It looks like something my grandmother would use to beat the dirt out of small carpeted floor mats. Any ideas? It's called a roasting net, a kitchen tool for roasting flatbread. After you heat the dough circle on the pan, slide it onto the roasting net, and immediately place the net over the direct flame and move your arm so that the roti gets evenly heated. The roti should ideally puff up fully then. What is this sculpture I purchased at a yard sale? It's made of wood, flanked by 2 wings indicating ears, with geometric patterns in contrasting colors. Any idea of country of origin and age? The object is a Douala mask from Cameroon, specifically a Nyati buffalo mask, from the late 19th to early 20th century. Sculpted by the sculptors of Douala people along the Wouri River, with the aim of honoring the ancestors on the occasion of ritual ceremonies, and were worn like a helmet. These may represent spirits, totem animals, or supernatural forces, transforming the wearer during performances. What are these round wooden items found among my late father's things? Apparently, they came from the farm he grew up on. Mom had no clue what they were, just mentioned that they came from a farm. And much to her chagrin, they were part of every house move that my parents ever made. Standard size Sharpie marker for scale. Any ideas? Those are flat belt wooden pulleys from the late 18th to early 19th century, and they would have been tightened to a shaft. They may have come from a farm, but it's much more likely that they came from a mill. I have one in my shed that came from my family's grain mill. These pulleys have steel hubs, but older ones were wooden. Power was delivered by a single driven shaft, and unprotected belts and pulleys off that shaft drove equipment. Our last mill was electrified, but the 2 old freight elevators used pulleys like this and leather belts. I can still hear the thwack of the belts on a cold Vermont morning. What is this for? I got a storm kitchen from my grandpa today and this came with it. I can't find anything on it that looks alike, so what is it? Those are Primus prickers, used to clean the jet on a Primus stove. These were for cleaning out the tiny little hole that the vaporized gas came out of, because although white gas was supposed to be clean, it never is, and residue builds up in the nozzle. Primus stove was the first portable and soot-free kerosene stove, and got so popular in my country in the 50s and early 60s that all small gas heaters were called Primus. The firm was founded in 1892 in Stockholm, Sweden, by Frans Wilhelm Lindqvist. The first units were sold mainly to women who operated street market shops in Stockholm. Explorers then discovered the value of having a portable stove for their expeditions. For example, on Salomon August André's 1897 North Pole expedition, he cooked on a primus. Roald Amundsen carried a primus stove with him on his venture to the South Pole in 1911. And in 1953, Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay relied on primus stoves during their first ascent of Mount Everest. What are these weird squares located in Louisiana, outside of Shreveport? There's like a ton of them. My guess is it's lumber or some sort of energy processing thing. Each square has had these like round container things, but I have not zoomed into all, so it might not be each, but every square that I have zoomed into has had it. Any ideas? These are scars caused by oil drilling pads. Source? I'm originally from there and have family in the industry. The Haynesville Shale is a 10,000-foot formation that runs through northwest and north-central Louisiana. On May 5, 2024, the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources showed 4,949 active Haynesville shale gas wells within the state boundaries. What is this small metal stick with moving parts, found in a tin with buttons? I bought it hoping the stone might be carnelian, but inspecting it up close, it looks like it has bubbles the way glass would. The stick on the back moves up and down. I'd just say it's probably something that either goes on clothing or some other form of decoration. I've tried to Google Lens this, but all it brings up is photos of hat pins. Any ideas as to what it is? That is a 1930s shirt stud. I have something like it. It's a decorative fastener that fits onto a buttonhole on the front of a pleated shirt, or onto the starched bib of a stiff front shirt. And I'm pretty sure the stone is carnelian. Carnelian is a finely grained variety of quartz favored during the early 1900s. What is this some sort of old impact tool I found in an antique store? No one in the store knows anything about it, or how it was used in the past. It measures 16 inches long, weighs about 2.5 pounds, it is stamped with the letters LCF, and has a cool looking design. It looks handmade and I could see it being blacksmith made. Any ideas? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.